Hello, and here we are in March. I know we aren't in March, we're here in February.
You've time traveled.
I have, because I've been typing things about March all day. We want to welcome you to the Cannon County Chamber Connection. This is the February edition of this. And of course, we also want to thank DTC Communications because they are the ones who make this show possible. And we do appreciate it. My name is Carolyn Motley, and my co-host here is Keith Reddy. And we have both made it to work in the cold, and actually there was no ice here. But I think we dodged a bullet is what I think, because other places were iced over. But hey, Cannon County roads are good. Cannon County roads are always good in bad weather. They do a good job of keeping them as safe as they can. I know that Memphis and the northern part of Tennessee were not quite so lucky because there were lots of wrecks there. You know, January, February, and March are slow months for events, but we're going to do our best to have a few things to keep you entertained. But first of all, I want to introduce you to our guests, and one of them is Cindy Bush. And Cindy is also a new board member on the Cannon County Chamber of Commerce, and she's got 3 years to learn the ins and outs of everything. And then if she's not blind, crippled, and crazy, she can sign up for another 3 years. But anyway, we do welcome her, and she is also the owner of Willow 210 Vintage Market, and also just recently she purchased the Iron Pig Antique Store.
That is correct.
And they keeping you busy, aren't they, Cindy?
Very much so, very much so. I have a great business partner, though, my daughter, Allison.
Yes,
so
she is.
I don't know.
She does a good job.
I always say she's the president and CEO, and I just do what she tells me to do.
Well,
so.
okay. That usually works if you let them think that. It does. Anyway, we welcome you on the board. We
Thank
do.
you.
And also, you have two great businesses. Cannon County and Woodbury especially is known for their antique stores.
They are, absolutely.
And we have several of them in the county.
Yes, we do.
We have one in Bradeville and one in Gazaway, and we have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 in Woodbury,
In or
right around the square.
Yes, yes. It really has become a destination for folks who are interested in that arena, you know, and of course when they come into Willow or now Iron Pig, we'll always say, are you making the rounds, you know? So yeah, I think it's great. Joe Abney, who is who we purchased the Iron Pig from, when we started Willow, was just very instrumental in supporting us, and he didn't look at it as a competition. Yes, he was, you know, he had that view that we're all in this together, and I couldn't agree more. You know, it's not necessarily a competition, it's a community, and when they come for one, they come to see all of them.
They want to go to more than one.
It is, yeah, it is. And so we're super excited to have the Iron Pig now, and look forward to serving the community in that capacity as well.
I think one of the things about the antique stores here, instead of it being a competition, a lot of them have a lot of collectibles. You know, I've gone through and seen like records and stuff like that. So it's kind of like you've got a bunch of, you got several antique shops that have vendors that sell records and collectibles and whatnot. So
right.
they like to go through all those records to see what you have.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest differences between Willow and Iron Pig. You know, Willow's got a little bit different vibe, especially downstairs. We have some vintage clothing, like 2 or 3 booths that's dedicated to vintage clothing, whereas the Iron Pig has some booths that are dedicated to the collectibles, whether it's baseball cards or comic books or toys, things of that nature. So it's definitely a good mix, and I think it's something for everyone, whether you're looking for,
they want to look at
for
everything.
collectibles or you're adding to your already antique collection. So,
What got you started in the antique business?
Well, I have always loved antiques. I've always loved shopping for them. When I was younger, my dad I would join him, go to auctions and things like that. So I think that's really what sparked it. He built a cabin behind their house down in the kind of a hollow and filled it with everything he got from those auctions. And so I just love that process. And, you know, he was able to, some of the things he left alone, some of the things he had refinished. And so just the process of seeing what it was and turning it back to its original state, I thought was just really neat. So
I've always said if I had a cabin, I could decorate it.
yes, exactly.
And would Terry complain if you went out and got a
Hey.
haul full of
He hasn't gotten over my...
collectibles and stuff like that? See, my dad was like that. He would go to auctions and stuff and bring
Yes.
home stuff, and my mom would be, really? Where are we going to put this now? We didn't have a cabin. We had
Right.
storage buildings, you know,
Okay,
little
yes.
storage barns. Yeah, so.
Terry hasn't gotten over my Christmas collection yet.
I remember you talking about your Christmas collection.
He
Yes.
hasn't gotten over that yet. So now when I bring in something, if it has a bell on it or anything, I don't say it's Christmas.
No.
I say I'm going to use this for something else.
That's a good way around it. Very, very intuitive.
Of course, if it has Santa on it, you know, we all know.
Exactly.
But I could collect things, but I've come to a point in my life where I probably need to sell off some of that stuff.
Yes, yes.
Instead of collecting more.
And we hear
Well,
that all the time.
She
Yeah.
probably has a booth for you.
I do.
Yeah, so.
I don't have
Just
the
let us
time to
know,
donate to it. It would all be Christmas. I'll just tell you
That would
right
be
now.
fine. Christmas sells really well year-round.
And you could
Well,
call it
good.
Carolyn's Christmas collection.
There we go.
See,
I
we
could do
already
that.
got you.
We'll see. There
got
we
you
go.
already hooked up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I might just do that. I might. Are you in a hurry?
No.
I'm going to go somewhere else right here because he
Okay,
is.
sure.
So I can bring in
Okay.
our other guests.
Absolutely.
Okay, Daxton. Daxton is, I don't know how to describe your position. What is it, Daxton?
Well, I mean, on paper it is marketing and development, but
There you go,
with,
that
with a
sounds good.
nonprofit, you wear multiple hats. So
That's what I was going to say.
So it's
This
a
is
little
the
bit of
man
everything.
about the Art Center because he does a little bit of everything here. And I want you to talk about the Art Center while you're here because when I say events are slow, and they are, but the Art Center always has something.
not for us. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, speaking of community, we've got some community theater shows coming up. Right now, what is running is Into the Woods. I think I'll remember what we got going
Well,
on.
all right. I just thought you might need a cheat sheet there.
She loves cheat
But-
sheets, Bob.
Yeah. We have Into the Woods running until February 11th. So, and that's kind of the premise of that is, if you don't know, it's famous fairy tale characters all kind of meeting in the woods and kind of getting in situations. It's hilarious, it's witty, it's tragic at certain points.
And there's a lot of screaming that goes on. So.
If you bring your children, bring headphones if they're babies, because we learn that.
It's good advice.
But yeah, so like fairy tale characters like Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, Rapunzel, all of those.
The wolf, all of them.
Yeah, the big bad wolf. Yeah.
That's where all the screaming comes in, I'll bet.
That's where they-
We don't want to spoil it for people. but-
Actually, well, that scream's not as bad. It's more the other screams.
Oh,
but
okay.
Giants, Jack and the Beanstalk, is in it.
They're all there.
Who you got playing the Giant in Jack and the Beanstalk?
Well, you'll have to come and see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, you
Yeah,
asked
I can't
for that.
give everything away, Keith.
You asked
but-
for that, Keith.
And so, also we have coming up on the 11th as well a watercolor class, but I believe it's actually sold out. So, but we are looking to add a lot more classes this year, a lot more art classes. So keep an eye out on our website at artcenterofcc.com/classes, and we'll try to update that and offer different and new things. We've got some things in the work for sure. Into
Well,
the
you
Woods.
usually have a basket making class too.
Well,
don't you?
okay, yes, that actually is coming in July. I forget about it because it's so far away, but yes, we do have a basket class you can sign up for right now. I think it's the last week of July. It's a 4-day class, and it's actually discounted because of a grant. It's usually $450, and it's about $200 with
Okay.
master basket maker Sue Williams. A lot of her stuff are in the
And
cabinets
she
here.
shows you how to do that in a day, doesn't she?
4 days.
4 days,
4
you're
days.
making the basket.
Yeah, it's a 4-day class, so 200 divided by 4. I mean, you do the math, yeah. But so yeah, plenty of classes in the works, and then starting on March 1st through 11th, we have our. I guess it's our second show in the school matinee series because school year runs differently. It is Junie B. Jones, the musical Junior. And so the popular book, Junie B. Jones, as a musical. And some of the music is catchy. I find myself, working here, you hear it a
Dancing
lot.
and-
On
Yeah,
repeat.
and it's stuck in my head. But yeah, that's going to be, so with it being a junior show, all the actors are under 18. So all kids.
And the kids that watch it love it. They love those.
Oh yeah, we'll have busloads be coming in for those 2 weeks. But our public performances are March 4th and 11th. I believe it's the 4th. And you can buy tickets for those if you're not with a school group. Well, we also did add performances, but I can't remember if I added those on a Friday or Saturday. But you can see that on our website. And then after that, I did skip one actually, because we have February 18th is Music City Stones, which is a Rolling Stones tribute band on February 18th. And that will be one night only. And yeah, this is the first time they've came, but I've seen videos and pretty
All
good,
the tribute
pretty good
bands.
Mick Jagger representation. yeah.
Right, all the tribute bands that I've seen at the Art Center were good, including Shake, Rattle, and Roll.
Yeah.
I loved it. That's one of my favorites.
But yeah, we'll be coming back later this year, but that'll be for a later edition of.
Well, all right.
And then ending in March, so March 31st through April 15th, we'll have our second season show, which is a stage play, a comedy, Moon Over Buffalo. And so it kind of takes place on stage, in a green room backstage, and kind of switches in between. And yeah, it's going to be great. They just cast that recently, this past weekend.
It's so interesting to me, my office is at the Art Center, but every time they have a new play, a brand new set comes, the floor is painted every time for every show, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Total overhaul of the theater. Yeah.
I think that's amazing because there's people working in there all the time.
Yeah, we have a lot of dedicated volunteers, and couldn't do half of what we do without them because we're small staff here, and yeah, they bring all of their skills and time and talent, and
And
really help make-
they don't gripe about it, do they? Or maybe
No,
I
this
don't
is-
hear the gripe.
No, this is their passion as much as it's ours. They just got a different day job. But,
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. Well, that's great. Well, we've got you caught up until April. Huh.
April, yeah. So I guess I'll see you then.
Well, we're going to have you back before then. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. You want me to switch
Okay.
out?
Yeah, let Tria in here. Now we'll come back to you. What are your plans for the future? You're going to buy more stuff?
She's going to be a franchise.
We are open to possibilities.
Oh, that,
We'll
we'll
say
see
that.
there.
Yeah,
Didn't
we are
say
open to
no.
Possibilities. We really enjoy it. I love, of course, working with Allison, and we have some great vendors. We have some great
That's-
family that are just all in, and he was talking about volunteers. We have, mom and dad and brother, and just, they're so supportive, and that lend their talents when we need them. So
And you really do need people like that. You do.
absolutely, yes, absolutely. So
And you need great vendors.
yes,
I think
and we have
that's-
those. Yeah, and of course, always looking for more. So
There you go. So if they wanted to rent a booth or a space, I'm always amazed at how much stuff they can get in a small space.
yes, there is an art to staging a booth.
There is.
That is true. Yes, and if you have a smaller booth like a 10 by 10 or even a 5 by 10, you really have to use your space wisely. So it's a lot of height involved and learning to stack the different items and
Across and up and down and
Yes.
inside.
and arranging it in a way that's pleasing and that
Right.
will be inviting to the customer. So there's
Well,
definitely
I
an
love
art to
the
that.
antique stores, and I know that the people that come in here and talk to me, and I tell them, or they'll call me about something else sometimes, and I'll say, well, come up here. And I says, if nothing else, just go around the square for right now.
Sure.
And because we have a lot of boutiques, we have a coffee shop, we have international restaurants. There's a little bit of everything and anything. We have a jewelry store, so there's a lot to
It
see
is.
just around the square.
It is, and we have a lot of groups, whether it's 2 or 3 or 5 or 6, who will make it
A day
a
of it.
day of it. Yes, and they'll come, and whether it's from Nashville, we had someone the other day from Crossville, we've had them from Lawrenceburg. It's a drive, and so they just make a day of it, and they're super excited to be there, and we just.
And they want to go to all you have.
Yes, they do.
They do.
They do. And which is why the cards that the chamber provided are
Yeah.
fantastic, because that's just, we can stand there and say, over the hills here.
And they don't
the
know.
Gasaway's here, and they have no idea, but we have to just hand them the little cards and say, here's all the places, it's a
Has a little map.
It is.
I have to
Fantastic.
thank my granddaughter for that, because when Wanda from the Over the Hill Antiques called me, she says, I'm going to email you something, and I picked this up in another antique store that we went somewhere. And she said, I think if we could get something like this. Well, when she sent it to me, it was a white piece of paper with something drawn on it, like an outline and some dots. And I thought, well, I see the concept, but I think we can do a little better than this.
Right.
So
Yes.
I called in my granddaughter.
Yes.
And I said, you look at this and see what you can do with this.
Yeah.
And she didn't seem to have any problem with it.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
it's a
So,
great finished
Yeah.
work. Yeah, and
So when
we
we-
use it all the time. Yeah.
Well, Wanda says the same thing. In fact, I think I've replenished hers. Well, I reordered them. Let's put it
yes,
that way.
yes, and
because-
you brought some to Willow not
I
too
did,
long ago.
I did.
Yeah, so it's great.
But that's great, because the chamber wants to help out they want to help out all the businesses,
Sure.
but antiques is one of the things that people come here for.
It is, yes, and we see that time and time again.
Yep. All right. Well, Cindy, is there anything else you want to tell us?
We do, we have something exciting that's coming down the pipe. I don't want to give too much away, but Allison and I recently acquired a special quilt to Cannon County. So we are super excited about that, and are planning something around that for the community, hopefully in early fall. So
Okay.
we're excited.
I do want to ask you this, and I don't know who really headed this up, but I did know that usually each time of the year, fall, summer, winter, all the antique stores kind of have something for the antiques. I forgot what their winter sale was, what it was called, but are you planning that still?
That was called Winterfest.
Okay, well, that's easy enough, isn't it?
Yes, and I believe that is usually the third weekend in February.
Okay.
And so, to my knowledge, we are still planning on having that.
Okay.
Offering, sale, I don't think, let's see, I'm trying to remember if we have the flyer out for that yet. I think we do. But yes, that's usually the third weekend in February, because originally when we opened Willow, that was our weekend that we had planned to open. And back in '21, if you remember, the weather was not very cooperative.
Right, that's
at
the
all.
only thing about,
So we had to, postpone that. But yes, as far as I know, we are still planning on doing that. So
Okay,
that's going
third
to
week.
be sales in the booths and things like that. So
well, that's great.
different things, yeah.
And that's one of the things that we need to get out there and let people out of town know about
Absolutely,
that.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, well, when you get a flyer, let me
I
know.
will do that. I will do that. I'll dig for it.
All righty. Okay, well, we thank you for being on here, and we wish you luck with both the stores. I know
Thank you.
the Willow has done great.
It has.
I mean,
It really has, yes. Yes.
And it's interesting to go in there and see all of the things. And a lot of the vendors are very crafty themselves.
They are, yes,
They
they
make
are. We
things.
have some work from local artisans, whether it's charcuterie boards or dough bowls or rolling pins. My dad being one of them, so I'm a little partial to his work.
So you have to put him in
yeah.
there, don't you?
Right. But yeah, we have a good variety.
Yeah, you do.
And try to provide something for everyone.
And do you still have the jukeboxes at the Iron Pig?
There is, yeah. There's Joe sold one of them.
Oh.
Before, yeah, but we do have one there. So.
Well, I've always wanted a jukebox to go with my Christmas
Well,
collection.
there you go. I know where you can find one.
All right, well, we thank you, dear, and you're
Thank
welcome
you.
to stay, or if you have to get back, that's okay.
Okay, we
too.
have some electrical work being done at Willow, so
Well,
I'll
all
just
right.
go check on all of that if that's
Well,
okay.
we'll have you again.
Yes, thank you, Carolyn. I
We'll
appreciate the
have
opportunity.
you after you've been on the board a little while.
There we go. There we go. Well, thank
She's
you
real
again.
excited right now about it.
I am. As I told you in my email, I'm looking forward to serving in that
Well, all
capacity.
right, very
so
good. Boy,
I
be
appreciate
careful
the
what you wish
opportunity.
for.
Okay, maybe it's too early for me to
It's
say
not
that.
all that bad, I promise.
No, it's not.
Thank you, Keith. Oh, thanks again.
Okay, my next guest is Dr. Tria Wessel. And Dr. Wessel is the owner of Cannon County Chiropractic.
Yes, ma'am.
But you have a variety of things at your clinic, don't you?
Absolutely, yes. So I'm a chiropractor and owner of that, of course. Then I've got a massage therapist, Miss Erin Hillis, that's in there with us as well. She's been with us for 8 years now. And in the process of that, through our days and through our patients that we've had, we have a plethora of resources. And that's kind of what I wanted to kind of touch base on today, was not just what we have available, but what we have available through our resources and how we kind of help the community to get healthy, stay healthy in a more natural way. And it's not always just about in our office. It's what other ways that we can point them in the right directions for other things. So one of those is next door to us. So those of you that are familiar with the area and where my office is, I'm across from Reed's Building Supply on McMinnville Highway. And what used to be, has always been, since I've been there, Preston Brothers Construction, that building, we've taken that over. They're still in a portion of that. And then in the middle of that, we have rented that to Harmonized Brain Centers. And that is a biofeedback, neurofeedback. What they do is the practitioner is called a LENS practitioner, which is low energy neurofeedback system. And what that does is help basically reset the brain. So reprogramming because of things like accidents and injuries. We've had traumas, a head trauma, concussions, or emotional traumas. So things with PTSD, anxiety, depression, all of those things can also be helped with that. So we came across that as one of the practitioners is a patient of mine, and we just ask people what they do, always as part of our intake anyway. And then when they do something that is similar or in alignment with what we do chiropractically, as far as looking at the body as a whole, and how can we help things to heal more naturally, it was a natural thing to inquire more about that. And how it works is based on sound frequency. So there's no pins, there's no needles, there's nothing harmful, nothing scary, there's no noise. So
No pain.
No pain, none of that. And you get a map with that. So as far as those that may be a visual learner, like myself, who want to see things with it being something that's not a painful, not something you're going to hear or feel. It makes you kind of wonder, then, is anything happening? So you do get a map that they do originally of 21 points of the brain. And the very cool part about that is you get to educate, which we love to do in our office, educating how our bodies work and how they function. So the part of that goes very well with that is each part of this brain that they're mapping, then it has on the map, it shows you what areas that brain is good for. What is that part of the brain doing? So it makes very much good sense then when you could yourself know that you hit your head at a specific time in that particular area. And then you're recognizing you're having memory issues. A lot of people in the last several years, of course, with everything COVID related and all of the episodes of everything that has happened, whether people lost their jobs or had to be home or different things that they've had to be under, a lot of people have had a lot of stress involved with that. A lot of anxiety has come about from that. And because of those things, then it causes us to have some memory loss. And some that actually have had COVID, then that was one of the big things, was that COVID brain fog that everyone complained about, and that being one of the long-term effects that we're seeing, that especially that have complaints of. Well, this is one of those things that can help with that, and without having to take any drugs and medications and anything that would alter anything else. So those 21 points that they map then shows you what part of your brain is functioning too much, part of your brain is not functioning enough, and basically it takes and they balance that out so that we talk about it being like an orchestra. You want everybody in the band playing the same song, you want them playing on key, and you'd like them to be playing at the same tempo. That's pretty much how that works. So our brain is very similar to that. So all of that is what they're doing, and they're here on Thursdays right now, so they're just here one day a week in that location. They have a location in Nashville, off of Briley Parkway as well. So either or, but of course for most people here, that's why we've got it, because a lot of people don't want to drive to Nashville.
You know, one of the other things you didn't mention, but I wish I had the gentleman here with me that told me about this and actually used it. And he was actually having spells where he would, for one reason or another, pass out.
Right, he was having spells that were similar to a TIA or a small, it was seemingly like a small stroke. They're kind of blackout spells without blacking out. Like he actually wouldn't lose consciousness, but yet you could watch him and it would be almost like a seizure form. And they'd done all kinds of studies and tests to determine if he was having a seizure, if he was having a stroke. All of those were negative. Those were not the things that were happening, but there was definitely something going on that was triggering his brain to be unresponsive at certain times. And so, yes.
Well, I think I may have that. I'm not sure. But
So, again, it is something that I feel is absolutely something that everyone should look into, the possibilities of, because there are so many possibilities as to why it may not be working. And we preach a lot at our office and educate about not waiting until you have symptoms to take care of yourself. That chiropractic is all about more the function than it is pain. People a lot of times think of chiropractic as drug-free pain relief, and I like to explain to people that that's the happy side effect of what we do, because pain is only 10% of the nervous system, and the other 90% of your nervous system is solely for function. So we should pay more attention to function than we should to pain, and if we did, then we wouldn't worry as much with pain, because if we pay attention to the function, that's going to override, and you're not going to see that pain stuff to show up. It's the last thing to show up, but it's the first thing to go away.
right.
So oftentimes when people are doing anything, whether it's taking medications or it's something else, that as soon as they feel better, they quit doing what it was that got them feeling better, and then what happens later?
That comes back.
Comes back, right? So we teach a lot about how to prevent that. So how to find out why you are the way you are, what's going on, how can we fix it, and then how do you keep it gone? So some of these resources that we've got are other ways to help keep some of those things gone.
Well, I was going to say the gentleman that was having those issues, and he just told me this one day. This is how I learned about it. And he said that since he's been taking the brain treatments, that he hasn't had those
Nope.
seizures or
Right.
whatever they were.
Right. And so typically what they do is a series. It's commonly a series of about 9 appointments, usually 10. The first one is the mapping, and then it's 3 sessions of 3. In those 3 sessions, they do those 7 points. So then after 3 sessions, you've done all 21 of those points again. Then they do a new map. And then that's where I said that as far as being a visual, you look on that map and you can see the difference from one to another. Anybody can. It's a nice bar graph. It's super simple to see. There's a lot more blue, which means that it's active. And so just being able to see that on paper to see, wow, this really is working. And typically by that time, even with just having those 3 sessions, people have already noticed something different. They're sleeping better, they're more restful, they're clearer minded, their memory is some better, something they've usually noticed. Mood swings can be something as well. Like I said, depression can help with that. But even if you're not having that, you may notice and have an experience with that as well, as far as just feeling
Well,
better.
even stroke patients,
Relief.
as far as for being able to talk, it has helped with that.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that it's a cure for everything, but I'm just saying there is something to that.
Right, and I think it's something, again, that we explain because it goes so much along with our beliefs with chiropractic, that everyone should be under chiropractic care. And I say that because everyone has a nervous system. And your nervous system controls everything about you. And that's what we really do, is we're really actually functioning, having that nervous system to function at a higher level. So it's not about pain, and that's why it's important to have children adjusted, especially after birth. That's the most traumatic thing some of us go through, is being born. And then, think of how we're all held and put in car seats and laid in swings and different things. And then they grow up and then they're learning how to walk and crawl and they fall and they go down the slides head first and their feet snap over their head, those kind of things. So it's just should be a good common practice. And that's what we want to help everybody to know, that not wait until they're developing headaches, they've got migraines, they've got allergies and things of that nature that can help with that. And you could cut it off at the pass by starting there and working your way through and just having a better function. So the Harmonized Brain Centers is like I said, another avenue of just a really overall, in general, kids can be helped. My daughter, we've had her doing that. She did have some head trauma, and it was causing some anxiety that had not been there before. So we definitely went through that, and that's been extremely helpful as well. So kids can do that as young as small children. I've had a less than 2-year-old that was having that done. He was having anger issues and lashing out and getting in trouble at daycare. And she said, well, let's check, because she knew he'd had some head trauma. He'd had some pretty good bangs, had those big old pump knots, most of them get those. And sure enough, it was a huge success with calming him down, and he no longer had lash outs
And this is with no medication
As
whatsoever.
absolutely no medication, correct, yep. Now, all of the people that I have sent there, of course, they're also under chiropractic care, but I know that there are lots of people who have done that who don't have chiropractic care at all, who are still seeing results as well.
Right.
I think it's a great combination, because it absolutely both are going to help just to increase function that much better as well. So the other avenue that we have, we've got 2 other resources, another resources here in town. Miss Jeanette Schaffner, she's a naturopath. The state of Tennessee doesn't recognize naturopath as a license, so they have to call themselves other things. So most of the time they're certified health coach or some other forms of things. So she's certified in a lot of different things, and she can help with supplement things. So one thing I've always said since I'd started, people ask me a lot of times about, vitamins and supplements. And of course, most of us need supplementation. We're not getting proper nutrition from our diet. However, if I don't know what you have going on, how am I going to tell you what you should take? Because not everybody, even with what you eat, not everybody's system is going to digest it the same in the metabolism. So she has a system that she has availability to determine what your body actually needs as far as vitamins, supplement, things of that nature, and what you may have going on that you don't know that you have going on. Detecting things like Lyme's disease. It's pretty relevant in our area. We have a lot of ticks and a lot of issues with that. And people have an underlying problem where they just don't seem to be well. And it doesn't matter what they do.
That sticks with you a while, doesn't it?
It does. It's like mono. You're always going to have it, and then you'll have flare-ups. So there are things in which you can do to eliminate that or largely keep it at bay for a lot longer. And so she's very helpful with that. So we also use her as a resource. And then lastly, there's a place in Murfreesboro called Blue Umbrella. And it is a chiropractor who's the director of the clinic who has hired in other medical staff to do things more on a natural level. So typically when you have joint issues of things, they'll do steroid injections, right? And if you're like bone on bone, they'll do the rooster comb, things of that nature to try to help give aid space and try to put off surgery. So what they do at that office, instead of it being steroid injections and things that are not necessarily natural, they're doing everything with natural supplements. So vitamins, minerals that they do injections with, and that's why the medical has to be there, because chiropractors are not allowed to puncture the skin. So you've got to have medical personnel on staff for that. And they're doing things more with hyaluronic acid, which is a natural, that's what's inside our joints, is what we should have. And doing also the platelet-rich plasma. So extracting your own plasma, centrifuge out the platelets, put them back in, and let your body do what it's innately meant to do, which is heal itself. So it's a chiropractic approach with a little bit of a medical side to it. They also do extensive blood work panels there. So again, finding out what are you deficient in. Maybe it's vitamin D, maybe it's not. So they can do those extensive panels that your regular healthcare professional is not going to do because insurance won't pay for one that's that extensive. So there's options as far as that as well. And that being helpful to me when I send the patient for that, to know here's what you need, here's what you have going on. And it really helps to just have that, again, that whole system healing going on.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Now then, we've taken care of the humans,
Humans, yes.
but you're also involved and just went and got, I guess, your certification.
Yes, extensive certification. So another 225 plus hours of certification of classwork for animal adjusting. I've just realized the other day, looking at my diploma, that the end of this month, February 28th, marks my 20th year of graduating chiropractic school.
Well, all right.
Right? So I was like, wow, look at that, that snuck up. And in that time, I have always had a passion for animals. I've had animals all my life. I've had horses all of my life. I have worked on animals and horses because during school, I actually took a certification course there. And so I was certified already in the equine adjusting and small animal. But this was, that extensive extra part. So some chiropractors do acupuncture, which is, again, similar thing. Some do sports medicine, some do all of those. Well, it's very similar. It's exactly the same, just a different topic. So I did the extended circumstancing as far as the extra classwork and time, and finished that up the end of July, and I got the certification done in September. So I'm now officially a certified animal chiropractor as well.
Okay, and what does that involve?
Anything. I have worked on everything from chickens, potbelly pigs that are 3 days
So
old.
you're the reason that eggs are so
So
expensive.
Dr. Doolittle has been a term I have heard multiple times. Goats are big, so of course most of those are going to be not just pets, particularly show animals more so, just because they're looking for top of the line, best of the best, and if something is limping a bit, it's not going to be good quality. It's going to show poorly, and you're not going to be able to have quite the marks that you'd like. So a lot of it is that. But it's anything. I will work on pets, absolutely. The only thing I will not work on is a snake.
Good.
I do not care if a snake has what are called subluxations, which is what we teach. That's where there's the misalignment of the vertebrae that puts pressure on a nerve.
I don't care if they have.
I don't care if a snake has a subluxation. I'm sorry, that may make me a bad doctor, but that's it. I draw the line there. Other than that, I'm game.
Now, on your advertisements, do you say, we'll work on such and such, such and such, no snakes,
snakes.
in
So-
capital letters?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
right.
Yeah.
We have to be very careful with that as far as in the state of Tennessee, advertisement for animal chiropractic has to be very careful, very limited in that. So again, it's like I said, just speaking that I am a certified animal chiropractor, that I am licensed and certified in being able to adjust animals.
Are there a lot of certified animal chiropractors here in Tennessee? I didn't think so.
Well,
You know, I
there
hardly
was
ever hear of it.
one that
That's what
had a
kind of surprised
mobile
me.
unit that came out, because my daughter would have them in for their dogs.
So the thing with animal chiropractic and that certification, you can be a licensed vet or a licensed chiropractor. So a lot of more of the ones you'll see that are mobile because they're a mobile vet. So it would be either or. I have great respect for all of them. What I've noticed, and over the years, even before getting certification, many of the clients will prefer to have the chiropractor doing that when they've had both, based on, and I tell them, I said, it's just the difference of this is what I do every day. I adjust every day. So that technique has been built in for over 20 years now. a vet doing that. A vet is more doing other types of things.
Medical
They give
part
shots,
of
they
it.
give all that. So they're not as in tune with doing that actually adjustment, the thrust, the timing of that, the speed of that. So the quality of the adjustment is going to seem different, and not that it necessarily has to be, but that's where there can definitely be a difference between, and I've had clients to tell me that, well, my horse just seems to do better when you do it.
Well, there
Well,
you go.
okay, same with people. Like some people adjust better with certain chiropractors. So I always encourage people, don't give up on chiropractic versus animal or human. If you've been and had a poor experience, find another one.
Yeah.
We're not all the same. So, and there's literally like thousands of techniques of adjusting for both, for animals and for people. So I think one of the things that we talked about earlier, you mentioned asking me about the animal side of that, where I've gotten, right now I am mostly mobile. I do work from my office, but I have to be careful as far as timing. So with my office being open Monday through Thursday, I'll occasionally do Fridays, the parking lot between my office and the liquor store, as bad as I hate it, but that's what it is. I've got that lot there. We've purchased that. So that's where I have room for all my trailers that they can come in if I need to do it during the week, and I do it during my lunch hour or after shift so that I'm not mixing and mingling. I am looking to get another associate chiropractor in our office again, hopefully sometime this year. And once that happens and takes more into get them up and going, then we'll be able to work around them staying in the office with people and me stepping out to work on animals at the same time and be able to adapt that scheduling a little bit better.
Well,
I see the
Tria?
next Discovery Channel series. Because you don't ever see, I mean, like I said, when she said that, I'm like, wait a minute, you don't hear too much about animal chiropractic
no,
stuff.
I do, but the reason I do is my daughter and my granddaughter both have their dogs.
Yeah.
Chiropractors come out and, my dog better be feeling bad because I need it more than he does.
And
You schedule them both in, you and the dog,
Exactly true. I have so many patients that have become patients long after their animals had. I saw their animals 10, 15 years ago and, worked on them, and they're like, well, you did such a good job on Bob and on whatever. So then they start coming in, they see the difference that chiropractic can make that they didn't realize. And on certain things, especially animals are really fun in that manner because the animals can't tell you what's going on. You have to figure it out. Sometimes the patient knows, they'll say, well, they're limping or they're just not acting right. But they don't necessarily know what part that's coming from. And I'll ask questions just like I do with people. So like, are they eating? Are they drinking? Are they, using the bathroom? All the important things and what's going on with that and what's their sleep like and all the things. But also just the gratification that comes from animals after adjustments. People will get up and oftentimes they like that, they enjoyed that, it was nice, whatever, and yet they still may complain because for a while you got that inflammation there and all the things. They're like, well, I hurt worse after or whatever, so those can happen, right? But animals don't see that. Animals don't have any preconceived notions or ideas, so they're not stressed as I'm adjusting. They just think I'm petting them. They're like, oh, this is nice, you're wonderful, right? And so then afterward, there's usually there's licking, there's wagging of tails for the dogs, of course. There's horses will do licking, chewing, kind of a mouthing that is a sign of submission. You can tell that they absolutely feel better. So it's just very natural to watch and just in amazement to see, look how much difference that is. So for people who aren't familiar with chiropractic at all, when they watch me adjust an animal, it's evident. It's similar with a baby. You can tell I've done something even when it didn't look like I did much. It looked like I was petting them, but you can see the change in them, especially in their eyes. When you watch animals' eyes and they just soften, you can just see the relaxedness in them. And it's just like, oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's great.
And if that
I have the best job
And if
ever.
that don't work, you can always go over to the liquor store. It's right next door.
Right, there's that. That'll relax you. So, yeah, I do. I'm a firm believer in that. I do seriously believe that I have the best job because I love what I do. It is a passion of mine. It is not just a job. And my grandma always said, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Right.
That's true.
So I really don't work.
Well, you're awful busy for not working.
We've been abundantly blessed to have our doors blessed by our community. We love Woodbury. I'm so fond of my patients in this community. It was funny because we just had several this week that have told me that. They've come in and they said, "We're just so happy that you're here." I said, "Well, that's great to hear, and I'm happy that I'm here." I'm so blessed to have that. A lot of other colleagues that I have in other areas, they don't have that same concept. So small town is just that, small town.
That's
and when
right.
you're involved in a small town, which I'm on multiple boards throughout the community, I try to be, very active. My husband is. The kids are active in school, so we're around, and that people know who you are and recognize it.
And see, I like that. I've always liked the fact that you can walk into a bank and they know you by your name.
Yes.
And not because you're overdrawn, but because they just,
Not because your name came across, I'm like, okay, it's that lady.
well, there comes
Oh,
so-and-so.
here she comes. Yeah. Yes.
But I do
Agreed.
like that. I do like being people recognizing
And
you.
in the world of chiropractic that is different, or in my case, what I feel better, that we do get to know our patients more. We do see you on a more frequent basis because we need to. And it's about, again, not being just about that pain. If you're just going to your medical doctor for once a year for an annual physical, they don't know you very well. And things can get missed because they haven't seen you since last year. And what they spend, 10, 15 minutes. So if you didn't write anything down that's new or different, what is there to do? When we see you on a routine basis and we talk about your family life and your home life and your job and what's going on because of how that stress, how that affects your body, we're involved in that and interlinked. And your kids go to school with my kids, and your husband works with my husband or whatever. So there are things that that just connect you that way better, and we just are so much more involved with just the whole process again of how we actually truly heal from the inside out. And it's not just a physical thing, it's emotional as well.
See, I've never, I think both. I've had great doctors that I truly had all the faith in the world in, but I've also done chiropractic. And he did a wonderful job.
Yep.
That was Dr. Coombs. And so I don't have any issues with the chiropractic
Yeah.
part of it at all. Because I had a shoulder issue one time that I went to every kind of doctor you could think of, and I finally thought, okay, I've taken shots, I've done
Yeah.
all this other, I'm going to try something else, 3 trips, and that pain went away.
Yep.
And every now and then it would come back. I thought, okay, we'll just go back and do
that
this
again.
for
That's
3
right.
trips.
That's right. That's right.
And it works.
For those of you that aren't sold on chiropractic services, I've got a personal story. My daughter was born with Erb's palsy. And when she was born, there were excuses. Doctors gave excuses. Well, this is going to, it's going to heal itself out. Stuff like that, the way that she was born and everything. Me being involved in sports, I'm thinking, no, that's not the way it works. But, you're the doctor. We got her involved with a chiropractor. And as a result, when you talk about Erb's palsy, you've got an arm that the nerves are severed.
Right.
So they're not working. As a result of the chiropractor, those nerves didn't fully, but it did some.
Right.
To where she can use her arm.
Has some function.
She
Yeah.
grows up, yeah.
That's
So,
fantastic. Thank you for sharing that.
Amazing.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
All right, well, Tria, is there anything else? I'm going to run out of time.
I know. I think I covered the things that.
Oh, okay.
I think I covered the main things that I wanted to cover for sure. That, like I said, not just our office, what we have to offer, but in our office, we like I said, we really want to help to support the community around us as well, through all avenues that we can. And so, also Tuesday nights, every Tuesday at 5:30, we do a spinal workshop. And people are welcome to that anytime. You can come and show up to the office if you'd like. We also are live on Facebook with that at Cannon County Chiro, Cannon County Chiropractic Facebook page. And we also have availability to email that to someone if they aren't able to, if they don't have Facebook and can't show up live. So if it's something that you just want to learn more about, you don't have to be a patient to do that. So we put that out again, just a community service that we do.
You do a lot of training like that, or
Do a lot of
informational.
a lot of informational education.
Right.
Yeah, because again, sometimes it's just that golden nugget lies within that, not so much in the day-to-day appointments. Because again, we don't spend a great deal of time with you every time. It's a great quality of time that we do. But again, just really helping to know, we talk about nutrition in those, we talk about diabetes, we talk about autism, we talk about concussions. So individually, we have a schedule on there. So you can go to our website, which is cannoncountychiro.com. You can see on our website, you can see the list of upcoming spinal workshops. There's also a newsletter on there that is fantastic with articles about different types of things, whether it's allergies, whether it's sports injuries, certain kinds of, I think that one of the last ones we did, and we always do one in the paper.
I was going to say, you have one in the Courier
Yep.
too.
Mr. Ron's been wonderful about letting us to do that, continually putting that in the paper, so that gets that information out as well. I think the last one was on migraines, because I had a patient come in the other day and said, "Doc, what can you tell me about my migraine?" "You've never had migraines." And he started laughing. I'm like, "Oh, that was my article this week." Thank you. So sometimes my patients like to test me to see if I know what we've done. So appreciate that.
If you were really the author of that.
Yeah, do I really know what's being put in the paper? So, yeah, those are things, like I said, just put those out, so I want to make sure that we mention those as well. So this comes from now until April. We're in our expansion cycle, which is when we try to do a lot more energy building things. We play games in the office, and so you might see, if you're on Facebook and you do follow us, you'll see us pop on there to tell what the game is this week or who was the winner, those types of things. And then we will be having a Patient Appreciation Day coming up in April. What is the date on that? Shame on me. It's something really simple. Yep, I don't remember. I'll have to let you know.
Well, we got 2 more
But we
shows
know
in between
it's-
then, so yeah.
Post that.
We know it's in April.
Make an announcement of that coming up. But yeah, so we always do those as an open as well to people that are patients, people that aren't, and either if they want to be or they just want to come check us out. Doors are open. We always have food and games on that day, so it's just a fun day to come and check us out.
Well, all right.
Yep.
Well, dear, we thank you for coming on, and
Thank
we'll
you
do
for
it
inviting me.
again. But I do hope that, I think the part with the brainwaving thing is, or mapping.
Yep.
Is, I think that's very interesting.
It is,
And I
so.
know people that have done that and have had good results from it.
Absolutely, yep. I've not had any that didn't have something happen. Even if what they thought that they were going for didn't seem to fix, there were so many other things that were positive
There were
in the
things that
process.
got fixed
Yeah.
that they didn't
And
know
and
was bad.
Exactly. And it's one of those things that, commonly, they like to do that panel of basically those 10 visits, your first map, and then those 3 maps. And then many people after that, then they may have like a once a month that they check in. And just have that, and some may just go for a while, and then they just notice that things aren't as clear, and just go back and have another one. That's how that all got started. Was the practitioner that's there, when she came in, she had COVID, and she was experiencing that brain fog, and she was telling me about how, well, she just did another treatment where she had, of course, gone through the series of it a long time ago, and she said, "I just did a couple treatments and it's back to normal." And I said, "What?" Because at the time, one of my CAs was suffering horribly with the brain fog, and to the point that she wasn't able to really do her job, and it was stressing her because she's like, "I know I have these things and I just can't get them done." And it was like her brain was like, she said, like it's like swimming through Jello. And I was like,
I
that sounds
think
horrible.
I've had
That
that
sounds
feeling.
horrible, right? So we immediately got her doing that, and huge difference. I mean, complete total round, and very short. Within a couple treatments that she noticed that she was better, and then once she had finished that cycle of doing those, it was like a whole new person. It's like I
Well,
had a whole
good.
different team member back, and she was very clear and like I said, very, very concise and things
Her
just,
complexion was better, her wrinkles were gone.
no. But her mind was sharp again and we can carry on.
I just thought I'd add a little something there with the tree.
No false advertisement, Carolyn.
Yeah, that could get them in trouble.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I've got
So
to
we've got
cut
all of
you.
that information we keep at the office as well. So if anybody is interested just in that and they want to stop in our office, because like I said, again, they're only there on Thursdays. And when she is there, she's fairly booked. So there's not always room to just stop in there and talk to her.
And if you need a number to get a hold of their office, you can always call me and I'll be glad to give it to you at the chamber.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you
so
very much.
Yes, I appreciate you
All
guys
right.
so very much. I'm going to skedaddle.
All righty.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you, Keith, for
thank
sharing
you.
that with us. I appreciate that.
All right, we're about to run out of time, so I'm going to tell you about the events that we do have coming up. March 18th, the Lions Club Fish Fry, which includes catfish, chicken sides, dessert, and drink, will be at the Lions Club Building 11 to 6, and the proceeds for that will go to the White Cane. And the proceeds from the father-daughter dance goes to juvenile diabetes. And don't forget, February 14th is Valentine's Day. Candy, flowers, jewelry, gift cards, dinner, all of which can be purchased locally. You don't have to go out of town to get these. And if you really want to give something special and a little more on the practical side, a full tank of gas would be nice, or a dozen eggs. And the eggs are real popular, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
The cruise-ins, I've had calls about them. They will begin on April 25th, and they will be on the square 4 to 7. And they will go through August, September will be the Color of Fall car show. So we'll talk more about that later.
I got a couple things that I want to talk about. Fact Book, 2023 Fact Book is going to be included in your Cannon Courier on February the 21st. The issue there, so get a chance to get that. That's one of those books that you can keep year-round and use.
I use it every day because they have every office holder, every officer, every police department. It's just got all the facts in there. It's a good, this is a good book.
We've had a young man in the community, his name is Taylor Blanton, that has been diagnosed with cancer behind the heart. And he's had a struggle and everything. And there's some fundraisers going on. There was a fundraiser this past week, basketball fundraiser for him, raised over $11,000 from what I was told. There'll be another one coming up in April, and we'll get you the date on that next month. It's going to be kind of a concert benefit auction type of thing to help him raise money. He's not been able to work. And there'll be a story coming out there. Also, the Boston Butt pork roasts are on for sale at the Moortown Volunteer Fire Department. So if you're interested in that, there you go. You've got it. Yeah, April 1st.
April 1st will be that benefit for Taylor Blanton, and it will be at the Higgins Moonlight Drive-In. And so if you would like, they're going to have a silent auction, a band, raffle tickets, food trucks. This young man, his whole family have lived in Cannon County as long as I've been here, so.
I think they might donate a dozen eggs for
Oh, I
auction.
could do that.
Okay. He's
Hey,
holding
you
his
never
finger
know.
up at us saying, hey, it's almost time for you to get off of here. I'm going to have to cut you.
Well, we just want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day, and we'll see you next month.